Hi guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am doing a wear test on a foundation that my girlfriend actually gave to me. So this is the TLM foundation color changing. So it's this gimmicky color changing foundation that we've all seen being advertised online, and it's supposed to magically change to the foundation or the color that you need for your skin tone. So this is the shade. I have no idea. I'm assuming this one shade is all. So this is All Day Flawless Lift From Within Complexion, Perfectly Flawless Finished. So I don't know if they have different shades or if they're all white and then they just adjust to your skin tone, but I'm interested to try this out. So when I pump it on my hand, it's taking forever. So it does just look white. So I'm really interested to see what this does on my skin. So I don't have any primer or anything on, so I'm just gonna leave this on my hand for the moment, and I'm going to prime my face with the Wander Glow Ahead Illuminating Face Oil. So I haven't tried this yet. This is that face oil that we got in our Boxy Luxe or whatever, and it's like this pink kind of sparkly stuff. So I'm just going to use it to prime my face really quickly. It dries really fast, so it's interesting. It smells really nice. It smells like flowers. It's very floral. So now that my face is primed, we can go ahead and try out this weird foundation. So this is one coat of this foundation on my skin, and it did actually change to the color of my skin tone. It is a little bit too orange though. It's not really changing to my skin tone. It is changing to a skin tone color, but it's definitely changing to a skin tone color that doesn't really match me. It's definitely too kind of like ivory based. I have more of a yellow undertone, and this is more of a pinky undertone that it's leaving on my skin, and I'm definitely not this pink in real life, so this doesn't exactly match to my perfect skin tone, and on my hand it is oxidizing to like an orangey kind of color. So it does change to a skin tone color, but not necessarily your skin tone color, if that makes sense. It also is very sheer coverage, so I can still see all of my breakouts. I can still see all of the redness on my face, and to be honest, it's not really my type of foundation that I would definitely go for. It's also a very dewy foundation, which I usually like because that means it's not going to be very drying on my skin, but as for the way that this looks, I'm not really liking it that much. It definitely is a really cool concept, but it's definitely not something that I probably would have purchased on my own. So I'm going to go in with some concealer. I'm going to go in with Fair 08 and just cover up some of the imperfections that the foundation really didn't cover, which is like all of them. It's very light coverage, so if you are a full coverage bitch, you probably won't go for this foundation that much. Okay, so I have my full face of makeup on now, and we are starting the wear test. So it is 3 p.m. right now, so I'm going to be checking back every couple hours to talk to you guys about how I'm feeling with this foundation. So again, this is the TLM Foundation Color Changing Adjusted Naked Foundation. So it looks like this. It goes on white and then it adjusts to your skin tone. So now that the foundation has been on for about half an hour or so, because I just finished doing my full face of makeup, it does look okay. It isn't the best color match, I would say, for my skin tone, but it did a pretty good job considering it went on white and then adjusted to the skin tone that you have. So I do think that it is a really cool, okay, what is going on with this wig? Stop. So I do think this is a really cool foundation. It's just not exactly the perfect color match for me in particular, but it does look pretty decent. It isn't really sinking into any of my lines just yet, but again, it's only been on for about half an hour. And then make sure to keep in mind as we're going through this wear test that this foundation is a very sheer foundation. So it didn't really cover all of the things that I wanted it to, so I did have to use some concealer on some spots, and it is just very light coverage. It's definitely not full coverage by any means whatsoever. So if you are looking for a full coverage foundation, I would definitely steer clear of this stuff. But I will definitely go across the rest of the day. It is 3 p.m. again, right now wearing this foundation, and I will check in every couple hours and let you guys know how I'm feeling. Okay guys, so I am back for the first check-in. So it is 5:45 right now. So we put this foundation on we put it on at like 2:30, and then I told you guys I'd be back in a couple hours around 3 o'clock. That's when my full face of makeup was done. So just looking at this foundation, my skin does look really nice. It does look like skin. It doesn't look too cakey or anything. My skin doesn't look too dry. It has settled into my fine lines a little bit on my forehead and underneath my eyes, but that's not anything new. My skin does still look pretty dewy, and it still looks really healthy. The oxidization that I was noticing in the beginning did kind of go away, so I'm really impressed with that. So it did match my skin tone fairly well. After I did my full face of makeup, my bronzer and all of that stuff, it evened out my skin tone really well. So I'm actually really impressed with how it went on absolutely like completely white and then changed to my skin tone. I'm really impressed with that. So I think this is a really cool product. The only thing that I would say again is it's very light coverage. It's definitely not a high-end, like high coverage foundation. It's very light sheer coverage, so you would have to use a concealer with it. But I really don't have a problem with that. I always do that anyway. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in and show you guys what my skin looks like without all of my big studio lights up. I'm gonna turn them down a little bit just so you guys can see what my actual skin looks like. So with the lights turned down, you can see the lines in my forehead and you can see my under eye lines, but it does look pretty nice and it does match my skin tone pretty well, so I am really impressed with that. I will have to list the price down below for you guys because I don't actually know how much this is, as I didn't purchase it. I was given to it by one of my friends, so I don't actually know how much it costs at the moment, but at the moment I'm really impressed with it. I think it looks really cool, and like it's a really cool product, and it looks pretty good for being on for 2.5 hours. It doesn't look bad at all. So I will check back in again in a couple hours, and that'll be the last check-in that I do. It'll probably be only about a 5 or 6 hour test on this foundation, as I'm literally just sitting at home and I probably won't have makeup on for that long today, because it's already, what did I say it was? It's already almost 6 o'clock and I don't like wearing makeup. So we'll check back in probably around 7 or 8 p.m. and that'll be the last check-in. Okay guys, so this is the last check-in of the night. It is around 8:30 right now, and I am ready to take off my makeup and just start getting ready for Sunday evening, because it is Sunday evening and I don't want to wear makeup anymore. So my final thoughts of this foundation, after we started this at 3, so about 5-6 hours of this foundation on, it still looks okay. It is definitely sinking into my under eye lines. It's definitely sinking into my forehead lines the more that I wear it. And it has come up on my nose and on my chin. It is starting to come off as well. So I would say this is definitely not a very long lasting foundation. It definitely is. It has a nice finish and it has a really cool concept of the color changing, but as for a long wearing foundation, I definitely wouldn't necessarily say that this is a great one to wear if you're going to be wearing your foundation for 10 or 12 hours. It's starting to sheer out quite a bit, and it was already a light coverage foundation, so I mean, it's definitely something that you could put on if you're just like doing an everyday makeup routine, then yeah, that would be okay. But as for like going to an event for like 10 or 12 hours, it's definitely not one that I probably would recommend. It is a really cool concept, like I said. I like that it's color changing. I think that's really neat, but it is kind of gimmicky at the same time. You definitely don't need a foundation that color changes unless you're like James Charles or something and can't figure out your foundation. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of gimmicky. But that is everything on this foundation. I don't really have anything else really to say on it, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this, and I will see you guys at the next video. Bye!